Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something that's, well, just one of life's most difficult experiences: losing a beloved pet.
You know, the grief we feel when a pet passes away is such a profound and direct measure of the love we shared. It's that sudden silence in the house, a missing warmth at the foot of the bed. It's a change in your daily rhythm that you feel in your bones.
So we're going to walk through some guidance on how to manage this journey with honesty and care, turning to what experts say to help make an unbearable time just a little more understandable.
Okay, let's dive right in. A really crucial first step is understanding why the grief of losing a pet can feel so lonely. And I promise you, it's not just in your head, there's a real reason for that feeling of isolation.
It is so important to remember this. The depth of your sadness is a totally normal, totally valid response to losing a huge part of your family. It's a testament to a bond that was real and incredibly powerful.
And you know what? There's actually a name for this feeling. It's called disenfranchised grief. It's the reason you might get responses like, "Oh, it was just a pet," and it's why you might feel like other people just don't get the depth of your loss. But your grief is real, and it absolutely deserves to be acknowledged.
So how do we prepare for this goodbye? Well, when a pet is ill or aging, having a plan can provide a small sense of control during a time that feels utterly helpless. It's really about facing the inevitable with intention and care.
For kids especially, experts really recommend open and direct communication, tailored to their age, of course. Hiding a pet's illness can create a lot of confusion and even mistrust. Including them in the conversation and letting them ask all their questions helps them feel heard and part of the family's process.
And this is probably the most agonizing question a pet owner ever faces. It's a decision that's just filled with love and doubt and an immense sense of responsibility. How can you possibly know for sure?
Well, to try and approach this more objectively, veterinarians have actually developed assessment tools. One of the most common is this HHMM scale. It helps you track key things: hurt, hunger, hydration, hygiene, happiness, mobility, and the big one, whether there are more good days than bad. Tracking these on a calendar can help reveal patterns that aren't obvious day to day, helping you make a more informed and maybe just a little less guilt-ridden decision.
When you have to explain euthanasia to a child, using clear and gentle language is absolutely critical. Phrases like "put to sleep" can be terrifying for a young kid, who might then start to fear falling asleep themselves. But framing it as a final act of kindness to end pain helps them understand it's an act of love, not abandonment.
And that brings us to the emotional heart of the matter, the decision of euthanasia itself, and the incredibly complex feelings that come with having that power and that responsibility.
This question is just such a heavy burden, and it's almost always rooted in guilt. Did I wait too long? Did I not wait long enough? Could I have done more? Those thoughts can be relentless.
But it is so crucial to understand this. Guilt is a natural, even though it's painful, part of grief. It is not a reflection of reality. It's our mind's way of trying to rewrite the past to find a scenario where we wouldn't be hurting so much.
So here's the crucial point. You have to actively reframe the choice. You aren't betraying them, you're protecting them from what was coming. This isn't about taking something away, it's about giving them the gift of peace when their body can't provide it anymore. It truly is the last, most difficult act of responsible love.
Okay, so after the goodbye, the journey of healing begins. And this next phase isn't about forgetting, it's all about finding ways to remember, to process, and to honor the life that brought you so much joy. Choosing the right words can make a world of difference, especially for a child. Platitudes that are meant to comfort, like "be strong," can often have the opposite effect, dismissing very real pain. The goal is to open the door for them to share their feelings, to validate that their sadness is real, and to remember together.
Creating rituals, whether it's a small family ceremony in the backyard or something else, can be a really powerful tool for processing grief. It gives everyone a dedicated time and space to acknowledge the loss, share memories, and begin the process of saying a formal goodbye.
And these acts of memorialization, they're not just for show. They serve a vital purpose. They transform grief into a creative, positive action. Each one of these ideas celebrates the life of your pet and helps preserve their memory in a really tangible, beautiful way.
And finally, in the middle of caring for your family, it's absolutely vital to acknowledge and care for your own grief during this process. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Grief isn't linear. Some days are going to be harder than others, and that is completely okay.
Your grief is a personal experience, and you have to let yourself feel it, without judgment. Give yourself the same compassion you would give to a friend.
The stress of grieving is both emotional and physical. That's why these self-care behaviors are so important. It's not selfish, it's necessary. Even just taking a brief, intentional break from the sadness each day can help you recharge and cope.
And what about the future? Well, the decision to adopt again is deeply personal. It's not about replacing the one you lost. That's impossible. When and if the time feels right for everyone, welcoming a new animal into your home is really about having enough love to open your heart again.
The grief will soften over time, but that bond you shared is permanent. That love doesn't disappear. It becomes a part of your story, a part of who you are.
The end of their life doesn't have to be the end of their legacy. Their impact on you, the lessons they taught you about unconditional love and simple joy, that is what you carry. Honoring their memory is the final, enduring act of love.